Hi guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a reading on how they were, perceiving you, feeling the last time that they saw you. So I do have 3 piles here. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So if you need another minute, you can pause the video here and let me hold these up to the camera for you. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So yeah, if you need another minute, pause the video here. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. All right, let's see. I'm currently in a toxic relationship that I don't know how to get away from. I'm afraid to open up. Okay, so I do have the spread down here for how they were seeing, etc., like viewing you the last time they saw you, and then I have overall stuff kind of up here, and of course the messages that they wanted to give to you. So I am feeling that there might be some distance here, and that there could be some blockages to this connection. And right off the bat, how are they viewing you the last time that they saw you? And we have this star right out the gate here, which is major arcana, so it's pulling a lot of weight here. I'm getting that they might, like, you are so clear to them, and you're really standing out, right, as this really beautiful, almost etheric, like elven kind of an energy, and also a being to them. There's a lot of beauty, right? The star card is always associated with beauty, just like the stars in the night sky. And it's also associated with the water bearer being the Aquarius card. And the water bearer, the story of the water bearer is, in Egypt, the water bearer would overflow the Nile, and that would bring fertility and growth to the Nile Valley. So your person is looking upon you as someone like fertile, right? And fertility obviously translates to beauty. So the funny thing is, I am getting something tied with age here. So if you're older, because look at this woman, like she has her gray hair and her wisdom, but she's still beautiful. And I want to say the word supple. Why do I want to say the word supple so much in my readings, you guys? I have some supple people watching me. Gross. You're not gross. You're beautiful. But yeah, with this star energy here, like, it's something to do with your age. Like, I feel if you're an older person, like your person sees you as like having aged in a really elegant sort of a way, where you really embody this feminine nature, and you have just this calming energy about you. Like, you definitely are the type of person who, like, your hair smells really nice and you light incense and candles, in your house. And but the spiritual work that you've done, and this is regardless of age, by the way, the spiritual work that you have done is apparent in your physical form. You probably dress somewhat spiritual. I don't know if there's some kind of garb associated with whatever spiritual tradition that you like to practice or that you're associated with. Maybe you wear like a veil or a burqa, and your person just thinks it's like, really nice, and that it's very suited to you because it kind of shows off your beauty in like this very spiritual way. You could wear kind of like bohemian style clothes where like here, maybe your tradition, like you wear white, or you wear a lot of scarves, a lot of flowy things. Maybe you like jewelry and gems and crystals and things like that. And there's an elegance in the way that you move as well. And it's also, but it's like you're not really, this is an interesting energy with the star, and I never can quite explain this right. It's like you kind of pull people's attention without even trying, That's just kind of the nature to you. There is a magnetism where people just kind of can't help but be drawn to you, but it's in this really elegant way, and it's not something that you overtly like feed into. You know what I'm saying? Again, her hands are highlighted. I find this a lot in my readings where like the hands are highlighted, and So you could definitely be a healer, and in this instance, I'm definitely getting more of like a spiritual healer, because she's grounding energy from the heavens down here onto the earth, and especially dealing with emotions and the subconscious. This is a highly feminine card to me. Also, just the imagery of that, right? Of pulling energy down from the heavens into the earth. I'm getting the number 7, life path 7s. I know there's a lot of you. Shout out. So maybe you do have a life path number 7. But I'm also getting something about your power, like with her hair here. There's something about your power, because hair often is associated with power, and it can be associated with yoga in certain traditions. So there is something about your spiritual power that has grown and evolved, and your person noticed it kind of the last time that they saw you. There is also something pretty iridescent about your skin, and like that kind of has a sheen to it, but not like moonlight. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like muted sheen, like maybe you moisturize your skin, you've been eating healthy, so your skin kind of has a healthful shimmer almost to it. So that is like really beautiful. You know, and what is the emotion that this sparked in this person? We have the Knight of Cups. This sparked like a feeling of romance. I mean, I'm just getting this very romantical kind of an energy here. I feel like you literally probably took your person's breath away. Like you were a poem to this person. Like I'm just getting this very romantic, poetic energy. And I do think that if your person is artistic at all, like I think they captured this moment in some way. Maybe they wrote you a poem, maybe they wrote you a song. They had to go home and like draw you or paint you or something. They like needed to burn it into their mind, but it brought up like this sense of romance. And I also feel a little bit of fear here. Like we do have the shark, you know, in the bottom, in the bottom, yeah, that makes sense, of the card here. So it's like this sense of like looming kind of doom, and your person's like this pie-eyed, you know, little boy almost, or little girl, like whatever applies. We also have I'm afraid to open up. So I do think that, you know, it's like you brought up these feelings in this person to the point where they feel safe, but I feel like maybe your person has gone through something in the past. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I am present and here with you. I'm currently in a toxic relationship that I don't know how to get away from. Your person could have been duped in the past by like being pulled in by someone's, you know, beauty or grace. Like this person probably knew exactly how to play them. You know, they might have studied them and they knew exactly which buttons to push to kind of pull things out. And I feel like those buttons are exactly you, like the things that you embody. You know, your person just really loves this highly feminine spiritual vibe that you have going on. And that could have been used against them in the past where they felt like just duped. And so that's where this fear is coming in, where they're afraid to open up, and they're afraid because they have such pure feelings for you, and you're so disarming. Like the word that I want to use is disarming. Like you're so disarming in your beauty, and you come off as like so gentle but so powerful at the same time that it's kind of throwing your person for a loop. Either way, it's just they feel very swept up by this feeling. And also, I feel like if you've noticed that your person has been in and out, that's why. It's because it's like this start-stop energy within them where they at once feel so drawn to your energy, and it feels very healing. I think they can sense the healing behind it, right? And I talk a lot about Harville Hendrix in my readings. He has written that book, Getting the Love You Want. And in it, he describes the process of falling in love as like the first phase is this amnesia phase where like you look upon, you know, this person in this very like beautiful, they can do no wrong kind of a light. You're really not perceiving their flaws. You're just so enamored by that person. And so that allows you to come together and to form a bond. And once that bond is formed, like the amnesia kind of wears off and you start to see the person as a true person, and you realize that you've attracted a person that brings up your wounds and vice versa. But you found yourself having, hopefully, right, when this isn't, you know, being duped by, you know, somebody who has toxic traits, you find yourself kind of nestled in a relationship that you've built, and therefore that allows you both to hopefully work on yourselves, right? Relationship is the hardest yoga, the heart, that union. Yoga means union. So you're working to help heal each other and heal yourselves individually through this relationship and through that mirroring process. And the whole thing is very divine. So your person's feeling that call towards you, but at the same time, I feel like your person, I'm getting wisdom from the both of you. And even though I feel like there's a maturity difference, like spiritually and emotionally. Like I do think that you're a lot more mature than this person in those areas. And that's part of why they're so attracted to you, is because they sense the healing that is involved here. But there is a danger, right? So it's like your person's being called to choose this relationship and to get out of their own way, right? With Ganesha over here, like remove the obstacles and get out of their own way, because this person is stuck in this pattern in their relationships. And I just feel like they're stunted, with how they love in a way. So how do they feel about you? We have the 7 of Cups. Your person's confused, but I don't think they're confused because of you. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you are a really genuine person. You're showing up as the star here. Like, congratulations, first of all, and thank you for like engaging in your spiritual work and doing your spiritual work and having the courage to incarnate at this time and bring this sort of an energy into the world, especially this star powerhouse, right? The sun is a star, that sun, divine energy, but like you're bringing it in the hugely in a divine feminine sort of a way, regardless of your gender. Like I'm saying, there's huge receptivity here, there's huge spirituality here, there's a wisdom to you, and there's also a handling of beauty that is very elegant and indicative of a high vibrational being. And I'm not just tooting your horn, that's literally what I'm seeing in the cards. So thank you, first of all, for just holding that down. But it is a bit of an enigma. I say this word all the time. I didn't know I use this word as often as I do until I started doing this. But with the 7 of Cups here, this is the energy of Neptune, and it brings in that 12th house energy. And the thing about the 12th house is it's really difficult to see through, because you kind of have to feel your way through it. Like I'm telling you, this is something that your person has to learn from you, is intuition, following your heart. Your person's not so good at it, although they want to. I'm getting like this little image of a puppy dog of like they want to. They know that there's good things there, but then, they're a little afraid, and like, kind of baiting them with a little bit of food to let them know that they're safe, might be necessary, because your person has been through some things in the past, right? With this toxic relational energy. And, and people don't, it's not always like intentional that someone's toxic. Like we all have, things that we need to overcome, and sometimes those things that people need to overcome are just extremely, extremely toxic. But with this 7 of Cups here, again, it's bringing up this Neptunian 12th house energy, and that can be a soulmate energy. That can be the highest level of soulmate. But how can you tell? Because it's such a hazy, watery house. It's not like a logic air house where you can see through it and you can classify it and you can point to it and you can use very pointed language in order to try to describe what's going on between the both of you. No, this is a feeling connection. This is definitely a soul connection that's happening, maybe even a little bit in secret, because this person says that they're currently in a relationship. This is a general reading, and so like these energies kind of have to come out as they come out, right? So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. If they're not currently in a relationship, I feel like their emotions are definitely still pent up around whatever went on in this relationship and the toxicity pattern. They're still there. Do you know what I mean? And that can happen with trauma, where it's like, even though your body's gone, your mind and your heart is still there, running those loops, right? And you still have a lot of work to do in order to break the pattern. And, like we've seen all these memes that have been going around that are very emotionally intelligent, that are saying, the meme is that women are not, fixer-upper houses for, traumatized men or people. And that doesn't have to be gender specific. I think the way that it's been embodied in our world tends to be gender specific, because the world kind of puts women into that position. But regardless, like we all do have responsibility to heal ourselves, right? And I used to say, like, before I met my husband, and I was really like, I didn't know it at the time, I wouldn't have said that I was doing manifestation work, but I wanted somebody strong on their own, and I wanted to be strong on my own, and then we came together, like, we were even more strong. And so that's something to kind of be reminded of, is that your person, while there's a lot of healing work that can be done in this relationship, that there is, it's a process, and like to honor the process is really coming through with the Seven of Cups here, is this whole like idea of honoring the process, because that's what I get with Pisces. Pisces is the end, and it's the fruit of the process. It's a really amorphous house, and it can be really uncomfortable. You guys have so much water energy between the two of you, where it's like 11th and 12th houses. You guys could have met in some kind of a group, and you might have some kind of visibility here with the star in the 11th house. And so it's like this person really wants to get you alone because they want to kind of figure you out. They're so drawn to you and they want to figure you out. It's just they don't know what tool to pick up to do it. And the tool that they need to pick up to do it is heart space related and is intuition related. Yeah. So, you know, the last time they saw you, like, what are the steps that they want to take towards you? We have the Three of Cups. So much water energy between you guys. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody has, you know, if there's just a lot of water between you and your composite charts, or just your person is really watery. Which is a little bit heartbreaking, right? That they're in kind of a toxic situation and that they're afraid to open up. Like they might have like a water north node where a lot of their lessons in this life, they might have a watery 7th house, a watery north node, or a watery, 10th house or midheaven, because a lot of what their life lessons are in this life, I think, is taking the lessons of the 4th house, things that have happened to us emotionally in that 4th Cancer house, where we're learning how to emote and relate to people in the comfort of our home with our families, because a lot of that happens before we've really developed much consciousness, and then taking that and turning that into something healthful, you know? So with the Three of Cups, they want to reconcile with you, and they want to like have good times with you. I think they want to spend time with you in a group because it feels safer. You know, if this person is in a relationship, that toxic relationship, they might want to have a third-party situation that is a bit secretive, because again, that feels safe to them because they don't know how to get away from this. This is what I'm saying, like this healing energy that you guys have to share, like this person's drawn to like a lot of your traits because they need to cultivate those traits in and of themselves. Overall, the way that they're seeing you, we have fire and Capricorn. First of all, fire, this is somebody who is self-sovereign. You know, you have a lot of your own goals. You do what you want when you want, and you make sure that you have a bit of independence. Same with Capricorn here. You know, and it's like you only submit to the things that serve you. That's a very conscious process for you. You're actually a very conscious person, you know, and you deal with things in a very matter-of-fact kind of a way. And again, there's this energy of just being really magnetic, being responsible for the things that you're manifesting in your life, and having long-term goals that you're actively working towards in the material world. You're a person of action. Whereas your person, and I think this might be, you know, I'm not trying to like victim blame, because no one should be treating someone in a toxic manner, but your person could have found themselves in this position, in this toxic situation that they're in, because they are more of a receptive feminine energy internally, regardless of their gender, than a masculine one, which is like taking action. So it's like this person, I'm just getting someone who doesn't take much action, and they maybe could have some self-esteem issues. And I think that you're showing up as someone who has very strong self-esteem, who is very self-sovereign, but also at the same time very loving. Like, you're not rude, you're not brash. You know, you're very, very elegant in the way that you move through the world. And people take notice of that, and people are drawn to that. And you probably get a lot of opportunities for that with this fire and Capricorn energy. You could have a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, on your midheaven, that 10th house cusp ruler, ruling like how people see you. And people might really want to come to you advice. You're probably a very motivating person. Fire signs are very much like that. Like, literally think about, and I'm only saying this because I think it helps drive the point home. If you think about like really cheesy archetypes, right? Because then you can see exaggerated like traits and it'll help you understand it. But if you think about like the really cheesy gym coach, you know, you can do it, you know, one more set, like, you know, that type of a person, that's a lot of fire sign energy. Like, especially Aries and Sagittarius. Like, Leo's pretty, like, you know, they're like cool, you know, but Aries and Sagittarius, they're very like big motivators. Leo is too. Leo is too. And Leos definitely will be like the one that's at the front leading people through those process. But there is something like that to you, where you're like the cheerleader, you know? And it's like you're the trailblazer. You run up ahead, you figure out how to do it, and then you're going to come back and you're going to pull people through with you, you know, and you're going to be that leader and you're going to be the drummer, but you're also a leader that's like very caring, and you see people as individuals and you empathize with their situation and you're very receptive to what's going on for them, those kinds of things. So those are things that they really ultimately want to cultivate in of themselves. This is, and just because we're sitting here and we're pulling it out, a relationship apart and we're making it conscious, because I find that whenever we just call things out and we can label things and we can pick it up and we can look at it, we stop relating to it as if it's divine or as if it's divinely guided or whatever. No. Like, this is the divinity in relationship, right? Where you can work these things out with people. And this alchemy, right? Sagittarius energy with that temperance energy that we're bringing in here with that Saggy. That is that divine alchemy, that divine union, like that pattern you find in everything, right? Hermetics, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. That's like kind of the thing. That's kind of the thing, is this relationship is how the universe kind of runs. So it feels very divine to me. And certainly this lesson of like turning away from toxic relationships, building self-esteem, being able to take action, you know, with grace and beauty. Like, this is something very important for your person to learn. And it is something that, whether or not they know it, they're seeking to learn from you, and they are learning from you every single day. So yeah, and then what are their next steps towards you? The Knight of Pentacles. This person wants to give you something tangible, and they're going to be moving forward with you, because knights are about forward motion. And what were we talking about? We were talking about cultivating that masculine energy that is active. That's the active principle, right? Your person is trying to gather a lot of information about you, and this step forward too, it could be like an invitation, it could be, you know, a book or something that they know that you like, because I think this person's been observing you, and they've been observing your hobbies and like what makes you come alive. They've been observing your spirituality, and they want to give to you. This person wants to put themselves in a position of giving to you, because you give to so many other people, and that's the relationship that they want to have with you. This person is moving into the more masculine stance in this relationship. Like, I felt like I didn't do such a good job of explaining that. I do see a highly masculine energy kind of coming through here. And it's just, it's like more King of Cups, you know, where it's like this person feels a lot, and maybe at the same time that those feelings have been mistreated, and so it's sent your person into a bit of a tailspin. But your person, like, or when they're around you, it's like they remember and they feel safe, and so they start to open up and they start to move into this more masculine kind of an energy. So it's like they know that they want to take the masculine stance with you, if that makes sense. So they want to be someone who gives to you, and who takes action in the physical world. And so I think they're gonna do that, where I think they're gonna come off as very confident when they do this as well. So they might actually give you a gift, but this person's going to move towards you, and they want to set up, you know, they want to start building a foundation to have a long-term relationship. And I think that your person's okay if this needs to unfold over time, but they just want to start moving towards having a meaningful, connected relationship with you, you know? So let's go back up here to how they're seeing you overall, right? We talked a little bit about this over here. Now, I have one card for light attribute and one for shadow attribute, and then because this is light attribute as well, and then I've got one for shadow. So the light attribute, we have seeker, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much you in a shell. There could be, like, I'm picking up on an independent streak. It's like you're so feminine, you're so loving, and you're so giving, but there is something a little untouchable and a little bit independent about you. You're a very independent thinker. Nobody can control your mind. That's also something that's coming through, where it's like, I'm not saying that this person is like weak-minded or something, but they are, through their emotions, I feel like. And it actually could be that this person is more developed in their mind and in their masculine state, but it's like because they haven't developed that emotional state, then that ooh, yeah, that can kind of pull on their heartstrings, because with the energy of Pisces, sometimes Pisces energy, like, can be manipulative with the Neptune there. It's like very, very hazy. And with the siren, like, it pulls sailors out to like eat them. So like, they could be very susceptible to shadow side Pisces energy, where maybe somebody is emotionally manipulative. So somebody with this toxicity, it's like they really try to pull on this person's like emotional heartstrings, and you do that just naturally, but then you're not exploiting it though. You're too independent for that. You know what I mean? You're just, like, you're very independent, and you're very, like, you take care of yourself. You're very self-sufficient. So yeah, and again, like, this thirst for wisdom and truth wherever you are. You're a person who pulls meaning out of the most mundane things. Like life, I'm fond of saying, like, life is my favorite yoga. And I think you really vibe with that, because like, life is a spiritual experience for you. There's not ever a moment where you're not getting to know life and getting to know God and relating to yourself and trying to get closer to truth and wisdom. Like, your person sees that in you, and they love that about you. And so then the shadow attribute, we have beggar. Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Interesting. What's interesting, especially about this to me, is that we have the shadow attribute over here is like the King of Wands. So, like, your person sees that masculine energy of like, yeah, you have goals and stuff, you know? And so that's what I think I don't think this is true. I don't think this is a shadow attribute at all, by the way, the King of Wands. I'm just not relating to that in that way. I think this is your person's wounding. And again, I'm going to pull us back for a second, because it's important to know that the way that people see us is a reflection of who they are. And that dynamic, that mirroring Two of Cups dynamic, is very much active in this. You guys have a soul connection that makes you very susceptible to each other's energies. And you both want each other to see each other in a high light. Your person's just afraid. First of all, can we just talk about how sexually attracted your person is to you? They just see you as elegant and as absolutely friggin' beautiful. And they're afraid that coupled with this goal-oriented energy, this self-sufficient energy, that maybe you're manipulative. Maybe you want something out of them because this other person did. But this is just their wounding talking. They're picking up on your traits, for sure. They're picking up on that sexuality. They're picking up on your goals. They're picking up on your passion. It's just their mind can't file it away properly because of their wounding, right? Isn't that the story of all of us? So let's not hold that too much against them, because I do see your person is trying. Your person is on a healing path, and they see that healing path. They see that goes right through you. So, yeah, with the beggar card here and this dependence on others to the exclusion of effort, I'm going to couple this with the King of Wands. Like, maybe your person thinks that you are like this honeypot. And isn't honeypotting a thing? Like, actually, the verb is like, it's called honeypotting, or, I don't know. There's something about that where, like, that's what they think maybe you're doing, is like you use the sexuality. And I don't think your person, I don't know, maybe they just think that you're so pretty that you just must be, or like you're so handsome that you must be used to it. Like, you must be used to people kind of catering for you and like bringing in people. Maybe you've dated people that are higher status and like really handsome and stuff before. And that has almost allowed you to develop that gentleness of spirit, because like maybe they feel that people have been that gruff presence for you in the past. Maybe that's what I think that might be. Like, they could have, if your person knows you to be in a relationship, like, or they've known somebody that you've dated, they could see that person as like being very successful and having been like drawn in by your sexuality or something, and they just see that could, honestly, it could be like this pile. I'm getting that you could operate in the world like that. I don't think you do, but or if you do, it's just like it's a side effect, you know. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you know, I was in a relationship and it, you know, was fine, it worked out that way, but it wasn't something that you set out to do. Like, I'm getting Elizabeth Bennet, because a lot of people think she's a gold digger. I found out I don't get that. Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice, and in it she said, in that story, she says, only the deepest love will persuade me into matrimony, which is why I will end up an old maid. And like, she ends up with Mr. Darcy. Like, I feel like you have that kind of energy to you. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. So I feel like, did I answer the question? How were they seeing you the last time that they saw you? Very feminine, very elegant, very spiritual, very realized, and just just sexy. So that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 1. It was a pleasure to read your cards today. I hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if that resonated. And I hope to see you guys around here again. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. Let's see what we have for you. I've heard people talking about you and I hate it. You misunderstand. Oops. Okay. Okay, pile number 2. How did your person feel about you the last time that they saw you? Like, how are they perceiving you? I think your person felt like you seemed like you maybe had lost your confidence a little bit with the 2 of Swords. That you were confused, that you were self-doubting a little bit, and you didn't really know how to move forward towards the things that you wanted. I feel like your person saw you a little bit stifled in a way. Now, before you click off of this in anger, just stay with me because I have other cards up here that it's like how they're seeing you overall. And we do have the Sun here and Neptune. So yeah, let's just kind of unpack this further and see what's going on here. First of all, you guys could have gone through something because I've heard people talking about you and I hate it. And then we have you kind of showing up here in this, not very confident kind of energy where you're blocking off and you're blocking your heart. So I don't know, there could be like a vicious group situation where somebody's kind of talking about you negatively. So why did they see you in this light? We have the Moon card, which is major arcana. So I just feel like maybe you went through some kind of a traumatic event. Maybe these old childhood wounds were pulled up. If your person knows you really well, or even if they don't, I feel like they can see into you. You guys might have a Moon connection or a 4th house connection where you feel like home to each other, and it feels like almost maybe even 12th house. Yeah, you guys could definitely have some 12th house, a watery kind of house connection where your person can kind of pick up on your emotional state, and not just that, but like fears and insecurities. They can feel when you're uncomfortable. So maybe this wasn't even that obvious to other people that you were feeling this way, but your person picked up on it. And here's the thing too, because how they're feeling about you overall, we have the Strength card, which is another major arcana, and I feel like this person, they are attracted to you. They think that you're very beautiful. They think that you, this is exactly, first of all, I feel like I'm struggling to express myself today. So first of all, the Strength card is exactly the energy of this. This is what I'm getting, right? Like, just first of all, because Leo, the sun, is the lion. And then like, look at the colors in this with Neptune. And this person, like, just look at this. Okay. This is how they're seeing you. Overall. So I feel like something happened and people were mistreating you, and this person hated it, and they just kind of, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's keep going with here. How do they feel about you? Your person wants to protect you. They're feeling very protective over you. There is attraction here, and they see you as being very vulnerable and very strong all at the same time. They see you as being very human, obviously, because they're seeing like these insecurities kind of coming up. They're seeing your vulnerable like underbelly a little bit. And even though they're seeing that, they're still very attracted to you, and they still see the strength in you. Because I feel like your person sees you overall as a very spiritual, very strong kind of a person. Like, you're very spiritual. I feel like you might even be a leader in spirituality in some way with the Sun card here. And maybe something happened and like you got knocked down and people just descended on you like some hyenas or something, because oh my gosh, we have an inability. Okay, so I'm so sorry that I'm jumping all around. This is like painting a very interesting picture here. So up here I have one card for light attribute and one for shadow. So the light attribute is monk nun, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting that you are very spiritually minded with the Neptune card, dealing with the 12th house. That's the wisdom house, the spiritual house, that Pisces energy, where it's like you are trying to listen for the divine. And you might have it's also spirituality in like a devotional aspect. So you could have a meditation practice, or you could be a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, where you're guiding people through these devotional spiritual practices where they can feel and enter into communion and relationship with the divine. I always get the energy of Ketu here with the sun, and Ketu ruled people are often, they find themselves in spiritually like leadership positions because people really revere them. Ketu is the headless body of Ketu, and so that's why it's associated with spirituality, because it's all about the sensations and feeling, and it's less about the logical mind. It's also about mastery, because the south Ketu is the south node. It's where we've come from, and it's when you enter that space of such fluid oneness and merging that, you know, it's that element of mastery where you're not thinking through every little step of what it is that you're doing. You know, like if you're a master painter, you're not like, I need to move my brush like this. It's just a flow, you know, and that's a sign of mastery. So I'm seeing you as very masterful in the spiritual arts in some way or another. Yeah, and so here we have the shadow attribute as an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. I feel like there is some gossip and some negativity going around. This could have to do with females with the Two of Swords and the Moon card here. Maybe even a mother figure or an older woman of some kind that's just kind of kicking up some dirt and, you know, gossiping. I feel like you got stabbed in the back in some way. And your person does want to protect you from that. They see that you're handling it with some grace. I also feel like you blocked yourself off. Like you walled yourself off from this. You might have even walled yourself off from this person, and that's why we have you misunderstand, because your person wants you to know that I think they want you to know that they're not gossiping, that they disagree with the gossip. Like, even if they can't, you know, if they don't know how to handle the situation, they want you to know that, like, they're not agreeing with this, that they see that people are kind of coming at you in some way. And you're very independent. Like, I feel like your person, you won't ask for help or something. Like, your person wants you to ask them for help. Like, I almost see them as wanting to be this little lion, you know? And with the Strength card, this is the first human that enters the major arcana, and she uses her hands. I was saying this in the first pile. I get a lot of hand energy. Like, I think a lot of people who watch these readings are probably healers, but it's like you interact in the physical world in a way that brings strength and goodness in, you know? I feel like your person wants to comfort you. But what's interesting is, what do they want? The Three of Swords. The Three of Swords. Let me just clarify this. You know what I think this is? I think they want you to cut your losses with whatever this is. Like, they think that this isn't good for you. This is a complicated situation. I can almost hear some of you guys wanting to be like, well, how am I supposed to do that? Or like, this person's still involved with these groups. This is some kind of a complicated group dynamic here. I'm also getting, with the two of these cards here, I think your person sees you as the High Priestess. You could have the Moon as your Atmakarka. That means your chart ruler in Vedic. And the way that you find that is the Rashi, or the sign, the zodiac sign, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, those big signs. Whichever one is your rising sign, the planetary ruler of that is your Atmakarka. And it's basically like your avatar. That's how you move through the world, right? In Vedic, shout out, the Moon is my Atmakarka. And people who have this, that's this High Priestess sort of energy where you're very sweet, you're very receptive, you're very feminine. It's not that your person doesn't see you as strong, because just like the High Priestess, like, there is a strength to you, but it is more of a feminine strength. And your person can sense that, like, and you might, if you're you're anything like me, you might not like to admit this to yourself, that you really do kind of look for a very strong yang energy in a room. Like I always say, I don't like to be in alpha-less spaces because every space can have a leader, but not every space, that doesn't mean that every space has an alpha, because an alpha is very nurturing, and I don't like to be in a space where you have to explain these energetic, psychological, social, emotional dynamics, especially if there's something unsavory going on. I don't like to have to explain that to someone in order to feel safe, because it just takes too much out of me. And you might be the same way, where with this moon energy, like you can be very sensitive. And again, it's not that you're not strong, but there is a receptivity. There's just a feminine receptivity to you. And people came at you in a very aggressive way. And I do think this person wants to protect you, like with this yang, with that more yang masculine energy. But they kind of feel like you're not going to be safe in this community or in this space. And so they want you to cut your losses with the Three of Swords here. You know, where it's like, you just have to accept that these are nasty people that say nasty things, that there's always going to be gossip there. And that this is something really to process and work through. Your person might be seeing this as patterns that you've had since forever. And it's really like, if you start to look at the undercurrents of what's going on, you might start to notice a certain pattern or a way that you allow yourself to be mistreated. Yeah, and with because clarified by the Five of Cups, I mean, the Three of Cups is like a community, especially like if this is a spiritual community, because I'm just getting that you're a very spiritual person, and maybe you think that, or you did think that you were going to be, safe there in like this kind of spiritual community, and you weren't. And so it's like your person wants you to like just let that go, because it's not good for you, in order to find what is good for you. And with this being the Two of Cups down here, I think that it's like they want a relationship with you of some kind here, that's very loving. I think your person loves you in whatever way that makes sense for your connection, but your person does feel a kinship to you. And your person could be very smart, like they could be a very masculine energy, and so they could kind of get around this, like maybe gossipy shadow side feminine energy that might be kind of coming at you and attacking you in kind of a way, because their next actions towards you is the Emperor. And while the Emperor is a tactician, I feel like there's strategy behind whatever this person is doing, and I feel like your person might be in a leadership position as well. And if they're not in a leadership position in whatever kind of group this is, or they're looked upon in a high light, they're looked upon as like being honestly a solid like yang kind of a force, this divine masculine energy. It's like whenever this person talks, other people listen, but it's like, I don't feel like this person maybe talks like a lot, and like maybe they don't want to get involved. Like this person kind of seems above this, and they don't really feel, I feel like they feel that they can protect you, like in that, down in the trenches, in the muck of whatever this is. I think your person's going to energetically be like a presence, that is very safe and protective. I'm almost getting that he's like looking at you. Like there's a group dynamic going on, and you guys are kind of making eye contact, and the person's letting you know silently that like they understand and that they're with you, and like the solidarity and stuff, But I don't know if this is translating into much action, at least yet. So this person might be waiting for like a good time where they can just come in and with like one word silence it, until like the hens have to stop clucking. That's kind of what I'm hearing. I know this is a very specific message, you guys, so if it's resonating, please let me know in the comments, because whenever I get really specific messages, I'm like, okay, like I'm going to follow what the cards are saying, obviously, but yeah. So overall, they see you as someone who is rising through the muck. There's a lot of like working through emotional trauma, emotional patterning that might be unconscious. You could have some kind of an addiction. And maybe your person sees you as like overcoming whatever this addiction is. This could be even emotional addiction, the addiction to being treated badly, and then not rising up into your power. But with the energy of Neptune and the energy of the moon here, there definitely could be some kind of, alcoholism or something where you're like rising up into your own power. Your person sees you as rising up into your own power. And they also see that you could be a leader of some kind. I really do think in the spiritual arts and definitely in healing. Like your person sees that you are rising up into this energy where you're going to be a leader and you're going to be a guide and you're going to be a knight or a light in the dark for people to follow. This, I feel like also your person sees this time in you as something that needed to happen, like in your journey almost, so that you can rise up into your strength. Because also, like, maybe that's something that I haven't communicated very clearly, is like your person thinks that you're handling this very well. I'm kind of getting that maybe not everybody can see this energy in you. I do think that there's something about you that is very commanding, and like you have a presence about you that is very strong and very magnetic, and you are considered a leader in some way. And then there's this other side to you that maybe not everybody can see, that your person sees, Like maybe they just saw you kind of faltering a little bit, but they're trying. This is like very subtle. This is kind of happening very subtly, and your person wants to like subtly make eye contact with you and let you know that they're with you and that they see you and that they are rooting for you to kind of rise up into your more powerful energy here. Yeah, because with the shadow attribute, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. So your person, I feel like, can just see you getting sucked down into low self-esteem or old childhood patterning, or you're not able to get what you truly deserve. And with the shadow aspect that I have over here, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So your person, I think, feels that you're independent to a fault. This leadership energy, this strength energy, and maybe like you don't trust people because of the things that you've been through in the past. And if this was some kind of an addiction and maybe you had to cut out a lot of your friends in order to engage in your healing process. And maybe that's where you dove into spirituality, but it's like the same patterns are showing up in that spiritual community. Because ultimately, like the deeper the root needs to like be healed or whatever. So your person like sees you walling yourself off, and I don't know that like your person. It's something about like there's a balance to be had or something about like walling yourself off. There's a difference between like walling yourself off and like only like coming out and like letting your freak flag fly when you're like in private or whatever, and just like cutting off people who don't need to be around you, like realizing, like understanding where the toxicity is, like if it's in this group or if it's in like with certain people, and just not being around those people, because there are people who want to like be with you, let me just, this is like, honestly guys, let me know if this is resonating, because this is like a harder reading for me, I gotta say. Like there's a lot of nuanced energies here. With the you misunderstand, I just want to like, what is, okay. Oh gosh, you guys, this is so like poetic. So with the you misunderstand, right? We have the Five of Pentacles, which literally is a church, and these people like being outside of the church, right? And the tagline for this card is being left out in the cold. So you're like being shunned or being left out in some way from like the group, and from, you're not maybe getting, this could translate into so many things. You could be not getting like the funding that you need for your project, because I see that you're wanting to like, you're trying to step up into leadership energy. You feel like you do. You feel like you have a lot to give. You do have a lot to give in this area of spirituality, or maybe with the energy of the 12th house. Okay, the 12th house can deal with hospitals and prisons and drug addiction and traveling. So you might want to be, and spirituality, of course, and wisdom. So you might want to be like stepping up as a leader into something like this. And maybe you got shunned, where people like, they just kind of poo-pooed on your idea or the things that you were passionate about and that you stand for. Because I'm seeing that you're a very passionate person. I feel like people were just trying to get under your skin and like take your self-esteem away and make you doubt yourself. And your person's like heard the way that people are talking about you. If you're worried about like if this person sees you as weak, they see other people trying to victimize you, and they see you handling it as best as could be reasonably expected. So you misunderstand, like, okay, they kicked you out, but like your person wants to come and bring you this pentacle, right? they're like, no, no. And your person's like, okay, I just get the image of like a little mouse. I'm not trying to be offensive with this. This is just what I got. Like a little mouse that was like living in the church, and they were like, no, like you can't have all these crumbs. You have to go outside. And then your person like comes and like brings you some crumbs to eat. You know, they're on your side. Like your person's on your side. They're rooting for you. And they do know that this is not great, what's going on, and that it's subversive, and that people are intimidated by your strength. But your person wants you to know that you are strength. You are strength. You are the sun. You have that Leo kind of an energy, right? And I do feel like there's something, first of all, the sun, that the energy of like, it's the energy of the 12th house and the energy of the 5th house with Leo. And the 5th house deals with children, and it deals with romance and sexuality and creativity and being very magnetic and fun-loving. And so your person sees these qualities in you. They see that you're very passionate about the project that you want to work in, and that you're also very capable with the Strength card and the Sun card here. And there could be, you guys might have like some kind of an emotional bond. This person, this could be like a sun-moon connection too, where it's like this person, that could be why you kind of look upon them as the emperor, is because they're showing up as the sun. And you guys have like that sun-moon communication where you just feel kind of, so your person's picking up on that more moon hidden emotional energy in you, and you lean on this person kind of for strength, at least emotionally. And that could be why they want to be there for you in this kind of way too. Same thing with like a Mars or something. So please, number 2, if that resonated, let me know. This was a little bit of a challenging energy for me to kind of put my finger on. So I am so interested to know what's going on. And if that resonated, please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you guys back here again. All right, pile number 3. Let's see how your person saw you the last time, or felt the last time that they saw you. And we had more messages for this. So I'm working on my future. Do you want children? I want to know you deeper than I do. I'm lying to you. And I want to make sure you're taken care of. Wow. Okay, you guys. So this is actually really cute. First of all, energy of Rohini coming through heavy here with the Empress, Taurus, and Earth. And that energy is very much like Eve from the Garden of Eden. And I'm getting that energy from your person. This person is, first of all, they're working on their future, and they're asking things like, do you want children, right? With the Empress card down here. And I want to know you deeper than I do. And I want to make sure that you're taken care of. This is partner energy. They're sussing out to see if you are their Eve, basically, or their Adam, if that applies. Adam is more Critica, just so you know, like in astrotheology. But the metaphor still applies of like this Eden. Your person sees you as an ideal partner here with the Empress. I mean, how were they feeling the last time that they saw you? Like, how were they responding? You're everything. They think you're everything. You stood out. You might have been in a group situation with the 3 down here. And you just stood out to this person. I feel like maybe you weren't even aware that they were looking at you, or they were trying to look at you when you weren't looking. But your person just saw you as beauty itself, as almost like their ideal dream partner. And I mean, just they thought, and they were thinking of this fertility. They were thinking about building a future with you, right? I mean, the Empress is pregnant here. Do you want children? Your person was kind of thinking, I think they were really thinking you would make a really good parent, like a really good mother or a really good father, somebody who's very nurturing and very caring, very empathetic, and also somebody who's like responsible and can help things grow, who like instinctively knows what people and things need to grow. And that with that comes an inherent understanding of life. Like you are a keeper of life. You are a friend to life. getting the energy of like Shakti, Parvati, you know, all of the good things is you, you know. Maybe there were some animals around and you were playing with animals or something, and your person was just like, wow, she's so great, you know, because there's just this loving spirit. There's this true loving spirit that was coming out of you. And also you're a person who's just smart and kind of observant. You were caretaking in some kind of a way. You were making sure other people's needs were getting met, and they see all of that energy in you. Also, if you have them, they were really kind of looking at your boobies. And they were looking at those boobies and they were thinking, you know, I refuse to say the word supple twice in one reading, so I apologize. So also, let's just jump up here for a second, because here I have like how they were, we're going to explore this more in detail, like this response to how they were feeling like around you the last time that they saw you. And up here I have like overall how they're feeling towards you, and I just can't not address like the Taurus and the Earth. So first of all, the moon is the center. The moon ruled nakshatras is in the center of all the earth signs, and so whenever I get this earth card, I kind of get the energy of the moon here, because earth, first of all, the element of earth is always, it's very beautiful to me, like in a very simple sort of a way. Like I just get like you know, lush lips, and somebody who like eats healthy. They're beautiful in like a really natural sort of a way, where it almost looks like they have a plug into Mother Nature herself, and like that person is just like lit up from the inside out, because the signs of beauty really are the signs of health, right? Like, you know, bright eyes and shiny hair and shiny skin, and you know, those kinds of things. Like it's signaling that it's a person who's really healthy, and that comes from like the earth itself, right? It's almost like you have a roots that go down into the earth, and the earth itself just kind of pumps you full of life and vitality in the most beautiful of ways. And so that being in the middle of Taurus, Rohini is the nakshatra in the middle of Taurus that is moon ruled. That's why I'm getting that energy here. And you know, that Rohini energy being in the middle of Taurus, I always kind of think Garden of Eden when I think Taurus, because it's all about very simple things, very pleasurable things. Your person might see you as someone who takes appreciation in simple little things, you know, and you might really like to garden, or you might be really interested in herbs, herbal medicine. You might make your own tinctures and things for things that go on your body and on your skin. I see you really loving things like that. You're that person who can kind of talk about different herbs and different plants and different, like the moon, where honestly with the moon here, you might be really into the moon. You could have, and having moon in your chart too makes you very feminine, in like, and Claire Nakti describes it like this, the kinds of beauty for feminine, the kinds of feminine beauty. I know I'm talking a lot about the ladies here. I'm getting a lot of feminine energy. Sorry about that if it's not resonating with the gentlemen, because you can take this sort of energy, you know, forward with that as well. But that moon ruled beauty is more like milk, you know, where it's really warm and like nourishing and like sweet, and you know, then Venus ruled beauty is more like ice cream, like the milk's still in there but there's sugar, and it's like this sensual kind of experience. And then Rahu beauty is like sexy, and it's like alcohol, where it's, you know, wow, she's like so hot, you know, like that's that sexy sex kitten kind of a vibe. And so with the moon ruled, it's like this very motherly, very soft, oh my gosh, I'm going to say supple a third time. Supple, like I just keep wanting to say supple, I guess. I'm so gross. Kind of energy, you know, but you're also very determined, and I feel like you have that side to you that's very protective of the things that you love. That's why this person's picking up on, there's definitely like loyalty and protection that's kind of coming through with how your person thinks of you as well. And that you're a person who understands, like, not only do you understand life, but and life really is growth, right? Like if you're not growing, you're dying, you're dead. I think something that stops growing is dead, or whatever the phrase is. There's a certain amount of you that is tied to like growth, and maybe you've overcome a lot of things too, because opposite Taurus hits Scorpio, and I'm noticing the butterfly wings for transformation, and Scorpio rules transformation. So you have a way, and this is so beautiful, because you have a way of taking of composting things. Like you take experiences that are riddled with like death or trauma or those deep dark things of the Scorpionic house that we don't really like to look at, those repressed things, and you're able to turn it into like life-giving situations. You might be like, I don't know, even like on the most mundane level, you might be an interior designer, or you have a way of making a house feel like a home. You have an eye for beauty, and so you have a way of turning an uncomfortable situation or space into a really comfortable space. Maybe this person even saw you in your own space and everything there was like beautiful and comfortable and, you know, things like that. With all this Earth Taurus energy too, I'm just getting that like you're very comfortable, like you have soft things around you, and you know, you wear soft fabrics, you have pillows in your house, you have candles, like that kind of a vibe is definitely coming through strong with how your person is seeing you. Your person is seeing you as embodying beauty, really. Why did they have that reaction with the Four of Pentacles? There's something about you that's a little bit reserved, you know, where it's like, I think that you're so beautiful on a physical level, especially just to this person, you know, you're incredibly beautiful, but there was something about you that was a little bit withholding. You behaved as though there was a treasure inside of you that you needed to protect, and that not everybody gets to. That's how you behaved. And that's what your person is picking up on. And so that they just picked up on that, and they were like, I know that this person has the goods, you know, and it made them want to get to know this part of you with, I want to know you deeper than I do. And like, do you want children? Because I want children with you, you know, and not in a weird way either. Like, even if you don't know this person all that well, like it's there, the foundation of, you know, you being somebody that they respect and that they find beautiful and that they find a lot of shared values with Taurus here. I think you guys have a lot of shared values, and your person just sees you as a very valuable person, because the Taurus house, the second house, yeah, it rules values, right? And we have shared societal values, but I think that people overlook how personal this house can be when it comes to values. Like Taurus and the journey of Taurus, like Buddha was said to be born under the sign of Taurus, and he was born in a palace, and then he left the palace to sit under a tree and find true value. So it's like, it's whatever is valuable to you, you cultivate that, and then through the journey of the earth houses, Taurus into Virgo, like you cultivate that every day, you work at it with some tenacity. Your person also sees that you have some kind of tenacity that's very beautiful to you. Your person might like to see you sweat a little bit, like if you get a little sheen on your forehead or something because you've been like working in the garden, or like, you know, doing something meaningful and valuable to you. Like your person sees that as a very valuable trait, you know. So your person sees like you are a person who they can build with, you know, and that you are going to have the grit to like have things progress like in your daily lives. I think your person thinks you'll be a very easy person to live with, that you have really good routines. You might even like help them with their like eating habits and their you know, their overall health, like because you know how to nurture life. You do that for them, and then if you guys had kids, like you do that for them too. Maybe you already have a kid or something, and because this person's seeing you as a mother, so you could already have kids, or they have kids, and maybe this is like a blended family situation, and they're seeing how you are interacting with your kids, and they're like, can I get that for my kids, please? Thank you. So yeah, like I said, there's this deep value that you keep hidden in you that it's like untouchable, and it's very stable with the 4 being here. I know this is usually a miserly card of withholding, but I'm just seeing this as you're being protective, and the reason that you're being protective, you might dress very modestly too. That could be a way that you're protecting yourself, and with that moon ruled beauty kind of coming out, that you're being protective of that because you find like that there's something to protect, there's something like a value there. And again, like this, as is common with moon ruled energy, I want to make sure you're taken care of. This is a very good sign. We have I'm lying to you, which I'll pull a card for because it's not really adding up to me with like the rest of this, because they could be lying about not having feelings for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if this person acted cold or like they were unaffected by you, this person was affected by you. They just don't know, and they might be because they might have some self-esteem issues in the face of, they think you're great, like they think you're absolutely great. You might have more money than this person too. Like you might come from, and so this person doesn't feel good enough, and maybe they're like trying to show off and they're putting on a show. Yeah, and so because their next action towards you have the 8 of Swords, which is being stuck, like they're feeling stuck. they're not really stuck, but they have some negative thought patterns that are really holding them back from moving forward. But yeah, I want to make sure you're taken care of with that moon ruled energy that's very feminine. This is exactly the response that most yang has to that moon ruled energy. So it's a really, really good sign. People who are moon dominant or are moon ruled, like that's the Makarka of their chart, they tend to bring that energy out of very yang ruled individuals with like Mars and the sun, more masculine. And whether or not they know it, like they kind of know something's off when people try to like abuse them or take advantage of them, because they have that moon energy that is very receptive and also very intuitive. Your person might see you as a very receptive and intuitive kind of a creature. So how do they feel about you, the Six of Cups? Like, you guys might already be friends. You could have grown up together, and like the last time they saw you as like a grown woman. They saw you as, you know, in this like really beautiful light, because I think that there's just a solid bond here with the Six of Cups. This is such a sweet energy, right? Like, it's children, like, you know, the love of children, and being opposite but equals in the same heart in some kind of a way. And it's just a really easygoing, loving connection. Like, your person, you are the embodiment of beauty, but you're also the embodiment of comfort. Like, your person just feels comfortable around you in a way that's like really beautiful, and it's something that they want to keep nurturing. They want to give to you. They want to give to you. But yeah, there could be like some kind of status difference, age difference, something like that, but it's not a problem at all. Actually, it seems to work for you guys, and your person picks up on that and really likes it a lot, that energy between you. So what do they want with you? The Three of Wands. Like, they definitely want to move forward. They want to create a plan that comes towards you, and they want to watch like that plan unfold. With the fire energy here, they definitely want to like have some kind of forward motion. And I'm just seeing her like manifesting, trying to pull this in. Like, her wand is active. She's trying to take action here. Yeah, and the Three of Wands is all about waiting for your ships to come in. So this person, like, maybe they're trying to give you subtle little hints, and they are hoping that you like pick up on it, because your person does see you as like withholden, but like they want you to give them a sign. Your person really wants to give them a sign, because their next steps towards you, they just don't know how to move forward with the Eight of Swords. And I do think this is kind of a little bit of like intimidation and low self-esteem, and feeling like there's some kind of an ocean in between you, right? Metaphorically speaking. Well, maybe not metaphorically speaking. Maybe for some of you there is an ocean between you. But if not, like, this status difference, this age difference, it's definitely, your person feels like you guys can overcome it, but they just want to know that you're reciprocating their feelings, because I think when they saw you this last time, like, they didn't know if you were looking back. Like, you were doing a really good job being closed off and playing coy, and that might be something that you do, right? Especially with that moon energy, you might close down a little bit and shut off. And so your person's like, they think that you're so beautiful, but they don't know really like if you feel the same way about them, because they know that there's a good vibe between you guys, and you guys could have had one kind of relationship up until now, and now they want to take it somewhere else. You bring out this very masculine side to them, because like, regardless of gender, because it says I'm working on my future. Again, like, they want to be able to provide for you. They want this, like, they want to be able to take care of you. They see you as someone like worthy of being taken care of. And maybe even someone that's like used to that or would want that. I don't think that you're shying away. Like, you're not a person who shies away from hard work at all. Like, that's not what your person sees, but it's just they want you to see them in just as high of a light as they're seeing you. Right? So up here we have the one card for light attribute and one for shadow. So the light attribute, we have dilettante, and someone taught me how to pronounce this in the comments, and I've probably gone and butchered it again. But so we have delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Yeah, I think that you like really simple things. Like, you might be very sensorially oriented. Even if you do like come from there's a high quality to you. Like, I wouldn't say high status, although it could be, but like your mannerisms, you're high quality. Like, everything about you says high quality. But you might just like to do simple things. You might just like to eat good food, be very relaxed. You want to live a simple life. You find joy in the simple things. And also you're very creative and you're able to just manifest a certain type of abundance. There's an air of abundance, like true abundance, that just kind of follows you around wherever you go. So yeah, it delights in the arts without having to be a professional. There could literally be some kind of artistic activity that you do and it just adds to your beauty. Your person's like, oh my gosh, like this person is beautiful. She creates beauty or he creates beauty. And it comes from a very authentic kind of a place. Like you just inside and out, you eat, sleep, and breathe that kind of a lifestyle. So the shadow attribute, we have teacher. Manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. Interesting. What I think this is, especially because I drew this card for the shadow attribute, you just might be a little bit anxious, and with what it says, like teaching negative traits and destructive skills, I think that like teaching that is like you teach through doing. Like I think that your person just, maybe there's like a little bit of a nervous energy around you or something. I feel like this isn't going to resonate for a lot of you, interestingly enough. Yeah, I kind of just don't. I kind of want to say that this is also a light attribute. I'm not trying to like, suck up to you guys, but ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. That's like kind of what I feel more about. Like if there's anything that's like a shadow attribute for you guys in this pile, I kind of think it's self-esteem for both of you. Like maybe that's something you guys are mirroring back and forth, where like you could have just like a lot of worries or you doubt yourself, but your person like sees you as like being so amazing. There's something about like not being whole or something. Yeah. I want to pull a card for the I'm lying to you. Just to clarify it really quick. Okay. The sun. I think that, yeah, it's this yang energy. I think they want you to see them in this really high light. There could be something about children too, like do you want children? That's a question that's coming up. Maybe, ooh, I'm working on my future. I want to make sure you're taken care of. I want to know you deeper than I do. Okay, maybe your person doesn't want to have children. This is interesting. Even though because they see you, that could be a thing. Is like they see you as like their perfect match and their beauty. But like if your person for some reason doesn't want children, or they don't want children right now, and they feel like you want children right now, they're working on their future, and so they have these goals, and they're not ready. So if you guys have had a conversation around like, if you're ready to have children or something, your person's not, I don't think your person's ready to have kids, at least not yet. But there is something that they're lying to you about children. And I think that they could be lying to you about like how far along they are on working on their future. Like they're not done yet. They want you to see them as the sun. They want you to see them as a strong, like provider, kind of masculine energy. I know I'm focusing heavy on like, I'm getting heavy gender roles here. And it could be that even if this is a same-sex couples, then your energetic signature, or the energetic signature that your person sees in you and like sees in them, is like important and is strong, and with the Taurus energy, if you guys have heavy Taurus energy, Taurians, or people with like heavy Taurus, they like very much traditional gender roles. They just like it, that is just what turns them on. They're very, they're good at what they do, right? Like they're very sensual. They know, like they're really good with their hands. This is how they could be seeing you. I think you guys share this Taurian energy though. Like that you guys could have some second house overlays, some Taurus overlays. Somebody could be a Taurus. Somebody could have a Venus in Taurus, something like that. So there's like very sensual energy here, very good with your hands, very, good with your mouths. They know exactly where to touch you in order to bring out certain sensorial, things. You could actually work in like massage therapy. A lot of times Taurians do make their livings with their hands. You could be like a hairstylist, doing like cranial sacral work, something like that. or you're really, really good with your hands, and the both of you could be. And why was I talking about that? But, oh yeah, so like your person sees that and they're working on their future here. So, oh yeah, because I was talking about the gender roles. Yeah, so it's like that they're very attracted to the polarity in your energies, and that's also what I'm getting with the Six of Cups. It's like there's something very like harmonious between the two of you, like you're opposites, but you get along, right? Like masculine and feminine energy, they're opposite energies, but like it's really fun when they come together. Wink. But yeah, so your person wants you to see them as like your divine masculine, really. There's like that divine masculine, divine feminine kind of interplay. They want you to see them as strong, as magnetic, as sexy, as somebody who would make a good father, right? Because the sun rules that Leo house of children. It does. And Leo rules the kind of sex that leads to children. So it's like your person wants you to see them as that, but they just might not be so ready like right now. And I almost get that this person, like, it could have to do with money or status or something. So, yeah. Okay, sorry if that was jarring. I have no idea how I'm going to edit this, but like pile number 3, I literally just shut my camera off, and yeah, okay. Your person could have kids and you don't know about it. And that's why like all of that energy of you being so great, like so motherly, coming off as the Empress, your person could be lying to you. Like they just could be keeping it from you that they already have a child. And so asking if you want children, right? It could be because they have a child already that maybe they're keeping hidden, right, with the wall here, and that like is being kind of walled off. So, and if you have very traditional values, your person might wonder if that's going to be a turnoff to you as well. So, sorry if this was abrupt and jarring, but I just wanted to get that in there for you guys. So, all right, bye again.